sitting here with Matt Hughes right now, getting ready to do an interview with him he's here in Honolulu for the 3rd year anniversary of the BJ Penn UFC gym, and obviously it's kind of a weird relationship you and BJ have because competitors and now really close friends. Like I talk to BJ probably twice a week, and he's always talking about you. Every time we talk, we always end up getting into some conversation about Matt Hughes and what he's got going on. You guys got really close even after battle. How'd that come about?
You know, I don't know. I think we're a lot alike, you know, but let me tell you why you talk about me maybe every time you talk to me, because he beat me 2 out of the 3 times. So that's why BJ brings me up, is because he's beating me. That's the only reason why. He's a super competitor, so he would not, I mean, but yeah, he was getting ready to make a long story, he was getting ready to fight Fitch, and I had mentioned, hey, if you need some help training, I'm a wrestler and I'll help you out. He flew me out here, and it wasn't an hour. We figured out we had a lot in common. We just got along well. So after that training camp, we've just always been somewhat close.
It's a little weird. Everyone knows you're a small town kid, come from a small town up in Illinois. You love to hunt, you love to fish, and then people don't realize like BJ is that same kind of kid. He comes from a farm in Hilo. People think Hawaii, they think, oh, it's Honolulu, it's vacation time, but he's really a farmer, just like you are, just a farmer. So it makes a lot of sense for you two to be friends. If you had known this about him before you guys had competed all those times, do you think the relationship would be this good now?
You know, I don't know. You know, no matter who he was, as you know, Frank, you're going to try taking your opponent's head off. You know, so we would have still been the competitors we are today, but I think that friendship would have started, you know, as soon as we would have got done fighting.
Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome to see how much that you guys work well together. I gave BJ my personal opinion on him coming back to fight. I think it's a stupid idea. I don't think it's good for him at this point. He's a Hall of Famer. Let's go ahead and move on and live your legacy and leave it alone. But he, like you say, he's a super competitor. He wants to compete all the damn time. So when you spoke with him, when he said, hey, I'm thinking about coming back to fight again, I'm going to start training and kind of see what happens, what kind of conversation did you two have?
About the opposite of yours.
Of course.
Frank, what haunts me now is that my last fight, I didn't get my hand raised. You know what I'm saying? And I've told, and it's not like he got hit and knocked out. He went all the rounds. I said, BJ, if you want to go again, go again. Let's fight, figure out a good opponent for you, a good competitive opponent for you. But, you know, we don't need Frank Yeager that's got a gas tank that doesn't end and that's quick and that's beat you twice before. Right. You know what I'm saying? So let's pick somebody else and let's get your hand in the air. And I say hang it up after that. He's talking more of a title run type thing. Yeah. But I say, hey, let's get our hand in the air, walk away from this sport that way, and I'm going to be happy with him. Yeah. But I understand the desire he has to come back, as I'm sure you do too, yeah. Frank.
Trust me, I sit down and I watch some of these stupid fights. I'm like, I can do that still. I can still go ahead and do that. And I go work out with the guys here at Hawaii Elite. I'm like, I'm out of shape and I'm old, but like if I put a run together, I can kind of still do this again. Sometimes I miss it, and then I get thrown through a table on a movie set or a television set. I'm like, I don't miss hitting the ground like this all the time. I really don't. Does it ever? You say it haunts you that you didn't get your hand raised. Have you ever thought about coming back for? I know you're going to fight Renzo in a grappling match. But have you ever thought about coming back and doing an MMA match?
Yes and no. My wife's a big against me coming back. Dana White said I don't need to come back, and you know, amazingly, you know, I really stopped training hard 2.5, 3 years ago. And my body has got so healthy, and you're probably the same way. I don't do that hard workouts like I used to, and my body is just so healthy right now. I'd like to keep it that way. If I went through a 3.5 month training camp, my body would be beat up after that. I'm 42 years old. I just can't do what I used to do.
Your son Brandon's here with you today, down here in Hawaii. Obviously, it's a great trip for him. Short trip. I know you're taking off tomorrow morning. What about him? What about your kids? Are they any fight? Obviously wrestling, because that's just what we do, but any kind of fight sense coming from those guys at all?
I got 2 boys, 2 daughters that are really too young to worry about that, but I got a 14-year-old boy, Brandon, who's with me now, and he's the wrestler. My 16-year-old son, all he wants to do is hunt, not real competitive, and that's fine with me. I'm not the type that I drag my kids to wrestling. I don't drag my kids anywhere. I just kind of, if they pick where they want to go, and I just guide them. He wants to wrestle, so that's what we're going to do. You know, there's a huge dropout rate from 8-year-old kids to high school kids. So I've never pushed him. That's what he wants to do. And he's talking, fighting. And if he wants to do it, I'll help him out as much as I can. I don't know that I didn't like seeing my brothers, as you'll say, like Robbie Lawler in there, and I'm on the outside of the fence and I can't help him. So I can't imagine. My brother fought once in the UFC, and I was on the outside coaching him. I didn't like it. I can't imagine having my son in there where he's in there competing, possibly taking some hits, and I can't help out just by talk. So if that's what he wants to do, I'll support him, but I'm not guiding my son down that road.
Yeah, if they want to get there, my son asked me about fighting. I told him to go play golf. It's a better way to make a living. You can be 200th in the world and still make $1 million. You're fine. Like, don't need to do it. So I saw a little blurb. It was on Twitter, I think, that you have some new show or new project coming out.
The only thing, I've got my own show on the Sportsman's Channel. It's a hunting show, Uncaged with Matt Hughes. Nothing really tied in with the UFC. I do have some UFC clips on there, but no show with the UFC.
That's actually very interesting because you and I agree on gun ownership and hunting and fishing, and we have that agreement. We disagree on most other things politically, which is what it is. It's America. We're allowed to be that way. But it's interesting to see how much everyone's bipolarizing when it comes to you and your hunting. Like, is it half the group is like, nope, can't stand it, don't like them. The other half are like, absolutely, we have our rights, we should be doing. Are you moving kind of in that direction, like Joe Rogan, where you're like, I'm not going to buy more meat from the grocery store. I'm only going to eat the meat that I go out and I kill, but I use everything that I get. Like, he's part of that Hollywood group that eats, like Ted Nugent. They go out, they hunt, they kill, and that's what they have for their family. Are you kind of in that direction as well?
I would much rather eat the meat that I've shot because it's not injected with steroids. It's natural. Anything you're buying from the grocery store, unless it says organic, it actually is organic. Doesn't mean just because it's stamped organic doesn't mean it is organic. You don't know about it. I know the things I kill. I know how natural they are. I know they're eating natural food. Well, you are what you eat, and those animals that I kill and eat, they're natural. So I would prefer to eat them. But I still go. My wife still goes out and buys steak or roast or this and that. So we're not exclusive to it. But yeah, that's what I want to eat.
It's actually smart, and actually Jill and I were thinking about doing it while we're here on Hawaii, but it's tough for me to go boar hunting, so we haven't quite got that far yet. But last question, I got to wrap this up with you. Johnny Hendricks' last time he came out, he had a hard time making weight. He said he blamed it on venison. He went from the Dolce diet, switched to eating a bunch of venison, and that's what caused the problems. Do you think that is one of the issues with guys that are like you and like Johnny, that like to hunt, like that kill their own meat and have their own meat, that it might be problematic for them to try to stay in the sport and try to compete?
I've worked out with Johnny, great guy, but I would say his problem is being too overweight off season. I mean, when you're 210, 15 pounds, trying to cut down to, and he does it the last week. It's not even that he cuts down a month out. He really does most of it the last week. That's where I would start pinning the problems is, you're a professional athlete, and you've got to stay in shape somewhat. You've got to keep your weight down. You're not getting paid to walk in the octagon. You're getting paid to train properly, be in shape, and to make weight. And I mean, if it takes, a month of hard dieting to make weight, and that's what you got to do if you want to be a professional athlete.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, bud. Good luck, man. Have fun at your seminar.
You too, buddy.